I'm Tori Peters. I'm the author of Detransition Baby.
What is the last book that made you cry?
Time is a Thing That a Body Moves Through by T. Fleischman. I don't know if I cried because I was sad. I think I just cried because I was moved.
As if you hadn't become a writer, what do you think you would be doing right now?
I mean, I almost didn't become a writer, and I was pretty confused about what to do with my life. But I like to think that I would have been working with some sort of community somewhere.
What book are you hoping to read next?
I've actually never read To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. It's like something I sort of have been like faking like I've read for years. And I think it's time for the fakery to stop.
What celebrity do you wish would read your work?
I wrote the book pretty much, in an imaginary conversation with Elena Ferrante. And so no one knows who Elena Ferrante is. And so maybe she has read it, but Elena, if you're listening to this, I want you to read the book.
What's a book that you think is underrated and should be read more?
Well, I'm going to say Nevada by Imogen Binnie. I think it's not necessarily underrated, but I think it's known only within a small community. It's a book that made a huge difference in a bunch of people's lives, especially trans people's lives. And I'm going to add one other to this, which is Independent People by Haldor Laxness, which it's hard to say it's underappreciated because it literally won the Nobel Prize in 1952. But most people don't know it and have never read it. But I'll say that Haldor Laxness, Independent People, is a book that should have a revival.
What is your favorite part of the writing process and why?
My favorite part of the writing process tends to be when you're revising and you've got all the pieces and you're not sure where they should all go. And then there's like this moment of insight, or it's almost like it feels like it's an audible click. And you're like, oh, I know how all of these things go together. Suddenly, like, you can see your own work for the first time really clearly. That's like a really joyful moment.
What is the strangest object that you have in your writing space?
I have a bear skull. I have this little off-grid cabin. It's there last winter, and when the snow melted, there was just like a bear skull about 100 feet from the cabin. No, not the rest of the body, just the skull. It felt like it had a sort of power or something. So I took a tree stump and I mounted the tree stump on the wall and put the bear skull on the stump.
What is one question that you have always wanted to be asked but never have, and what is your answer to that?
I haven't been asked much about my history in writing nonfiction and ethics and work of turning some of the scenes that I was part of into fiction.
What is your history with nonfiction?
Well, my MFA, which was in nonfiction, basically felt like in order to tell the truth about the things I wanted to talk about, like especially as a trans person, about sex, about people that I met, I felt like the only way that I could tell the truth, which is essentially to be occasionally dislikable, was to turn to fiction, like turning these ideas and experiences into something where I can be honest